Hello, folks, and welcome back to the North American Collins Scrabble Championship in Seattle, Washington. I am not your host, Evans Clinchy. I'm, in fact, Conrad Bassett-Bouchard. I will be taking over for commentary this afternoon again with my friend from the other Washington, Sam Rosen. How are you doing this afternoon, Sam?
Hey, Conrad. Doing well. Glad to be here. How are you?
I'm good. Had a late night, saw some music, etc. But kind of happy I'm not playing in the event for that matter. Speaking of the event, though, let's just jump right into it. We have the Robinsky game, Rob Robinsky against Dave Wiegand. I never run out of things like this. What I can tell you is that going into, I guess we're halfway through the event before getting to the semifinals. Dave Wiegand is currently 9-3, and Rob Robinsky is 8-4, putting them at first and third place respectively. Not a surprise to see Dave in first place at a tournament ever, but it looks like Rob is going to pretty quickly play Vinnick for the opening turn, which seems pretty reasonable.
Get to use that B and that C.
Yeah, not a ton that Dave will be able to do other than, of course, overlapping or underlapping I and I. Or, of course, playing a bingo should one exist, though. I don't think there's a bingo at this particular moment.
There's the Atom 555 is pointing out Fenitar.
Oh, that is how you spell it, in fact.
Yeah, not with an M, as we discussed yesterday, but with an N. So that might be superior to trying to, he could play something like Father, I guess, making some hooks. And the C does look with the H in Collins.
Yep.
But Fenitar seems like a strong play, and it sets up his H pretty nicely for next turn.
Exactly. In both spots, pretty certain he'll be able to get a good H play. Everyone likes a good H play. They don't usually require too much thought. They just kind of like it makes sense. Did you get to watch any of the games this morning, Sam? Or
No, I took the morning off of viewing, but I did see a bit of one of the games. But I'll try to watch maybe tomorrow and some of the.
all right.
I'll probably tune in. Even I'll have it on a second screen when I'm working on Monday. Maybe the semifinals and the finals.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, looks like Dave is gonna find Fenitar. He's thinking about playing it. I think he'll eventually put it down. And we will look to see what it gives to Rob in return. Obviously, he's going to have something like Vens and Fenitars should he decide he wants it. Oh, I do see through the A he has Bad Evans. Bad Evans. Shout out to Evans. I can't quite see his facial expression in the background of the camera that Rob is being portrayed in. I think Bad Evans would be the play here. No, but for real, if we're gonna act like humans, I don't know what sticks out for you here. Would you do something like Vens and Fenitar, or think you could score enough otherwise?
I think that's a good play. Yeah, that seems like a strong option. Or I guess he could play Vaned and a parallel to Fenitar. The Adam's pointing that out as well in the chat. So that just to retain the S for Fenitars.
Makes sense, yeah. These two are really are fun to watch play. I've had the pleasure of playing both of them in some high pressure games this year, and it's been really fun to watch. Rob kind of come back from I say out of nowhere in the sense of he just took a break for a while, but y'all have been playing some recently, yeah.
Yeah, he's a really strong player. He knows a lot of words. You were talking yesterday about his strategic strengths. So I'm excited to watch the two of them compete.
Have you and Rob been playing at all in the DC area, or?
Yeah, he's beaten me in a couple of the recent tournaments. Yeah, so and he's involved with the club that we've started recently. So yeah, he had he had a nice comeback against me in a recent game. So I definitely have a strong, healthy respect for Rob's Scrabble game.
Yeah. Well, he's certainly been my spoiler this year. He beat me in the final winner-take-all game at both New Orleans Crescent City Cup as well as the Hood River Open. And he also took me out in the second to last game of the Champions as well, which put me in a showdown with someone else. But it does look like he is going to go with Vens. I don't know. Maybe it's possible he didn't know Vane. I'm sure he knew Vane. It feels somewhat stylistic, but I think I would have probably taken Vane at the end of the day and kept the offense for myself with the S hook. But I immediately see Hun at EH and U, keeping a good lead for Dave.
That's a strong option, and he's already set it up on his rack.
And it looks like Rob did not need to keep his S anyways. He may be threatening a bingo. He's certainly threatening one on his rack.
Well, yeah, on beats the 7, and
then
he has
through the eye.
Through the eye, yeah.
But if Dave were to play Hun, it's like that would put Rob in some trouble.
Well, Hun would give him Nio baits and none.
Oh yeah, NUN is a word. I was thinking it made NIN. Glad.
Me.
Yeah. Ugh. Ugh. What's your most common 2-letter phony that you play?
I haven't had many 2-letter phonies. Maybe that's a strength of my game. I play acceptable 2-letter words.
Yeah.
You have a common one?
No, but I can tell you one time I played. What did I play? Maybe foamed, FOAMED, making OA.
Wow.
OA got challenged off, and then I realized that I missed defoamer. They did not block it, and then I played defoamer, and my opponent was just like, "Who are you?" And I had to apologize. Looks like Dave is going to go ahead and blow up his rack here with Thrived. Certainly a very reasonable option. Scores 42.
There weren't that many bingo spots, I guess. So that's, you keep tired, but I mean, there's through the C, but Rob's probably going to play in that bottom left quadrant, and then you might have. So I can understand taking the points, being somewhat defensive, though there are those triple letter scores out.
Well, in this case, it won't matter, as Rob was going to bingo anyway, and he's still going to bingo. And then Dave is going to be stuck with a couple U's. So we'll see which choice Rob makes and what that leaves for the good doctor himself. Yeah, how does it feel to be in a class of doctors? Dr. Rosen, Dr. Bing. How are you feeling about that?
I'm just glad to be done with grad school. So no one asked me to operate on them or do any surgery or anything.
No. Obescent versus Botanize. Ooh, we have a Deldy in the chat. A world Scrumble champion. He's very good at the Scrumbles. He's actually even an Age of Empires champion. He's far better at that than Scrabble. Welcome, Deldar182. Glad to have you here.
Former high stakes poker player, or former as far as I know.
Oh, it's exactly what he wants to talk about, I'm sure.
Well, I'm sorry, I didn't know if that was a sensitive subject. We're here to talk about Scrabble, obviously.
Yeah, let's just talk about Age of Empires. So extra typo pointing out that Hun sims 13 points ahead of Thrive. I mean, to be totally honest, like that's what I expected was Hun to come down, so I was a little surprised. Does look like Obescent is going to get played here. A few fewer points, but Better board control for sure.
And Deldar in the chat had said no, I think in response to someone asking if it was worth it to play
Yes.
Obescent and to sacrifice those points. So Rob and our current, correct, World Scrabble champion
Yeah.
disagreeing on that play. Though I don't know what would have happened if he played botanies, but in any case, in the current situation, I don't see any great options immediately. What about you?
Nothing standing out as particularly wonderful. A lot of the best plays were just taken out by that position of Obescent.
Yeah, I want to
I'm
play
not.
botanies.
I'm not even quackling along. I mean, Ebb is an interesting spot, right? So you have like Job Fu Ebb or something.
Oh, that's a nice score.
Makes the triple lane coming down the middle maybe a little harder to hit in the short term. Although obviously, as we're looking at Rob's tiles, he's experiencing Lesser Schönbrun's law of Sht. Yeah, I think probably Job scores a lot,
And there's
but not the easiest spot.
yeah, that is a tricky insertion, and I know we've seen those are just tough to see. So um, and it's keeping his use not ideal, but probably worth it. Oh, there he goes. That's why it's worth taking the time.
Yeah. Well, it seems like the game's going to slow down for a little bit here as both Rob and Dave kind of have questionable tiles. Questionable. Or is
And
that
Dave,
it's questionable? Oh, Jesus. Oh, wow. That's really.
yeah, Dave has a lot of question marks of that. Well, he might not have many question marks because a trade will be a very attractive proposition on Dave's next play.
Yeah, I mean, OUPA and TO is
Yeah,
like kind of barely worth playing through, I
no,
think.
sorry, of course, as soon as you started speaking,
Yeah.
I'm facepalm.
Yeah.
Deldar points out Tifoso from the T in Obescent, a way to shed get rid of those duplicate I's and O's and score decently. If he wants to keep his S, he could just play something like Info, which is, not the best leave at all, but keeps the S.
Did you know Tifoso, Sam?
I've seen it, but I would not have played it, or I would not have seen it over the board, I don't think.
Mm-hmm. Would you play it over exchanging here?
Yeah, I think so.
Yep.
Just, you score 20 points and you keep AI, which is a decent leave, and I don't think it's worth 20 points to exchange and hold an S on a kind of not that S friendly board.
Yeah. Yeah, S is not that good here at the moment. Whoever hits Foo could be nice, but Fufu. Foos. Fufus.
Is that that's new to me.
Yeah.
Axer typo in the chat pointing out that Upa last turn seemed better than Job. So I was so fixated on finding ways to get rid of that J. I hadn't thought about retaining the J. So that would have that might have worked out much better for Dave, considering his current draw.
Yeah. It's possible. Well, it looks like Rob is going to go ahead. He's played Chow. I don't know. Not particularly inspiring of a play, but it does look like it's going to force Dave into an exchange, as it does prevent Upa from coming down.
Yeah, I didn't see that. I kind of like it. Balancing the rack and that food spot, like you said, he might well draw a decent option there, and it just so happens to take out uh, Dave's only non-exchange option.
Yeah. Looks like Rob has drawn some stuff like Nafes or whatever with his F. Obviously, he's drawn a bingo, but I'm struggling to find a place to play it unless you could convince your opponent that Vinica was a word.
Or you could play Branians and just have the S hanging off the board.
Exactly.
Maeve seems like a strong play, and I'd expect Rob to find that play.
I would think so.
And then
meantime, Dave, yeah, wow. He traded hastily and then drew those exact letters out of the board, or out of the bag, the board bag, whatever.
So they might, unless hastily make some 8s through that NAI, they might both have non-playable 7s. But getting back to the bingo stage of the game.
Yeah, it's a little nicer when both players don't have garbage on their racks. So it should hopefully get a little more exciting momentarily. So I don't know, Nafes versus Franian.
Oh, I would play Nafes. I mean, that's my opinion, but it scores so much more, and it takes out like the only good scoring spot on the board.
Yeah. Hard to turn down. Franian is remarkably safe in what it opens, but
yeah, and for
Dave traded 7.
So yeah, there's some floaters, but it's nothing I'd be that worried about.
Yeah.
Scrabble's pointing out Furia, which is a nice overlapping play through the E and Vens. Sort of a middling scoring option, and he's going to play in that spot, but he's going to play Fenny, setting up his own, but keeping that OA combination. What do you think?
I like Feria more for sure. I'd rather, in that case, I think I'd rather drop another vowel. I probably would have taken Nafes, I think. But yeah, probably I'd say Nafes, then Feria, then Franion.
Even get to turn over a couple extra tiles with both the blanks. I mean, it's still early. That's probably not much of a consideration, but
yeah.
Well, in any case, Rob doesn't agree with us, or he didn't see. And Dave now probably won't play hastily because I want to see if he has a good option to that triple, or there might not be much else if he can't play to that triple.
Yeah. In the end, it's possible, Dave will end up burning his S here, for good points, but any chance that Dave's going to open something for Rob if he plays down from Foo?
Oh, Morulas, that's what it is. I couldn't find it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's looking at playing. It looks like he's lined up Thy on his rack, and that plays parallel to the IAO and Chow, making some 3-letter words, and that would have Sits and Morulas. So a decent chance of that happening.
But again, it's sacrificing a lot of points.
Oh, what's his higher scoring option? Like just to the
Well,
like,
anything making foos or whatever. I mean,
yeah.
obviously that the Y is the risky tile. Well, the Y and the I are risky for bingos. For Rob coming back, I think Ramisly and Solarium.
Wow.
So depending upon what gets played, it's possible he could give Rob a spot if he played, say, Hylas or something. But,
Oh,
I only scores, what, 26? 16, yeah, 26 points, which just isn't that many points, I guess, when you could score well over 40.
yeah, and it's not really a bingo friendly board. I mean, you're just sort of hoping you hit starting with an S next turn on the triple lane if you play die, and Sale is not that bingo friendly. Um, I hadn't realized Hyla's. Oh well, I hadn't realized Hyla takes an S with eight. So HYLAS. That's an acceptable word.
HYLAS.
When you suggested Hylas, was that the Hylas?
Hylas is a word. It's a frog.
Oh, okay. That's what the chat's talking about, frogs. So that seems like a very strong option, even though it happens to give back Ramisly.
Yeah.
I think shedding, playing your 4 point tiles on the triple word score, if he sees it, there he goes. Takes a minute, but.
Yep. So there's Hylas. I feel like Rob will find Ramisly if Hylas comes down. He'll certainly find Solarium in that event, but is Dave going to pull the trigger on the points?
That's kind of one, if you've studied the alphagram, you can probably find it with that LY combination.
And also Ramosely.
Uh,
that could be depending upon how you learn words. That could be the reminder or the confuser as to whether or not Ramosely is also good. One thing I will note, having watched the games this morning, it looks like Hylas is going to come down, so we'll see momentarily if Rob finds Ramosely and is able to decides to play it. Dave playing a little slower today. Not used to seeing him, this low on time. He's played, I think, two or three of the games this morning on table one, and was low on time in those games too. So something to keep in mind.
Yeah, we've got a close game, 166, 162, and as we reach about halfway done with the game, or maybe a little not quite halfway. So that could be a factor as we go towards the the second half of the game if we enter an pre-end game situation.
Looks like Dave has picked up the first blank here on the other side of the table from Rob.
He might have yet another non-go.
Yeah. I don't know how there's any world where Aquatic is going to play after this. Let's see, Ram. Yeah. No Aquatica. Well, Rob hasn't made any motions yet. I kind of expected it to come down quickly. So if he hasn't already played it, that probably means he's not sure or hasn't seen it. So
he is a deliberate player. He has a humoral, so he could be, and humoral is a bone. I don't know. He could be thinking of humorals. Maybe he's just. Recently, he's played some bingos against me, and he's been deliberate about them. When they were sort of by far the best play kind of plays. So I wonder if he's, double checking he doesn't have anything starting with S, or maybe he doesn't see it or doesn't know it. So I don't really know. If he doesn't know it, it's going to be a steep drop off obviously, it's a pretty steep drop off to the next best play, whatever that is.
I have to imagine he's at least studied it before. his word knowledge is pretty solid. I've seen him make a lot of good plays throughout the year.
He was talking nines at our recent tournament in Potomac, Maryland.
Dang.
So
Did he play? Did he play any?
I'm not that I'm aware of, but he at least was talking about his nines studying. So
Wow.
not the only Dr. Bing is not the only nine studier at the table.
No. That must mean Rob is really getting back into the studying if he's on to nines and such now.
He is busy at work, so
Yeah.
that probably interferes with, as you might be aware, that
Yes.
probably interferes with too much Scrabble study. And he is definitely tanking. I mean, he's at least identified that this is sort of a high leverage turn in terms of.
I don't know. I'm just gonna have to sit here and think. So who do you think knows more nines, Cesar or Cesar?
I guess Cesar.
Oh,
If those are my options.
you could have said neither.
Oh, it's Rusumov is in the comments points out he plays Sordidist, which I did at the Potomac tournament, which I did see from a neighboring board. Now that I think of,
Okay.
it. Rob dwindling down to 10 minutes out of his 25.
You can see him starting to show not emotion in a negative way, just shaking his head, and he doesn't seem like he knows what he wants to do yet.
I guess even if you take Ramesley out of the dictionary, what do you do here? Like I haven't even thought about it because we've been talking about Ramesley so much. You play Yum, like there's not much. Is there some parallel play with at the top? I don't really know. I don't see anything great, at least that immediately comes to mind.
Yeah. Well, what does Quackle say? I'm not running this game.
Oh yeah, I am. So I can ask Quackle now that I can hit Apple G.
Yeah.
And he's not going to. Well, he's playing Alamo? What is he? Alarum. So he doesn't see the bingo of Ramesley, and he's going to
giving
in space for aquatics. Sorry we both wanted to say
it. That is a big costly mistake for Rob, I fear. And you weren't around this morning, but Dave had at least one other gift where he and Colton both missed Colton's winning outplay.
Wow.
So
Quackle did point out ovum on the through the V and Vinnick as an option.
Oh, okay.
If you really wanted to keep things tight, though, you kind of want to open up another lane with that LARS leave. So that might have been a decent option. Anyhow, Dave's also set up a quaint. So Dave, definitely the favorite now to extend his lead midway through the tournament. We're exactly at the halfway point at the tournament, I think.
Exactly. Yep. Well, before we get to the semifinals.
Okay. Yeah, I guess we're. Oh, good point.
Yeah. So aquatics will come down, and I don't think that leaves a whole lot for Rob. That's kind of a killer bingo.
And Rob might just have to play.
And worst part for Rob, like insult to injury, he doesn't even have an eye. He can't even play next to QI for cheap points, keep a good leave,
Yeah, and to block it, he's going to have to give up a lot. Like he would have to burn the fourth S with posed. He could burn the fourth S with posed or something. Well, actually, that leaves insertion plays. Like if he did that, if he played something like posed, Dave could play like lip back, or not lip, like glim. That's a word, right? Glim.
Glim? You tell me, Sam. Is glim a word? I know the answer, but
I thought so, but now I'm doubting it. Okay.
it is. It's a word. How about glid?
Yeah, that's definitely a word because I wanted to play glitted or something recently, which is not a word. Or glidden, that's what I wanted to play, which is not a word. Hope does open up. It's going to open up that quadrant a little more because the scope hook he can bingo starting with S.
Yep.
S and a vowel.
Pretty
But
reasonable attempt. Looks like Dave will probably end up with some cheap points with the QI. So Rob's really got to hope he bingos well now.
yeah,
Moment of truth. Oh, he pulls out the T. Oh, when he took out EU, I'm like, wow, he needs a T.
Yeah, where's the T?
Lo and behold, that'll get him
my
right back in the game.
And there's no way that's going to be blocked. So
Well, he's got multiple spots at this point.
Oh yes, on the triple word. I forgot all about that.
Well, I think that's what he was hoping, that Dave would forget about it and eventually get it all to himself. And as it turns out, he will get it all to himself.
Chat's commenting about Dave Wiegand.
Yes, that's what I was thinking when I saw that rack. The first thing I thought of was Wiegand.
He might play Glenn.
Now I have a question for you, Sam. How would you pronounce the plural of FENI?
Fennies.
Oh, okay. I'd
Would
pronounce
I be
it
incorrect? Oh, yes. Okay, I'm being set up. I should have realized that I was being set up.
Yeah. Oh, it's an alcoholic spirit made from coconuts.
Yum.
Well, I'm expecting that some sort of QI word is going to come down. Granted, there's only one eye unseen to Dave, so he could, maybe hold back for another turn if he wanted to try to play some board control or something, but
it's not really a good way.
Glim's pretty nice. Yeah.
I might even look with all those E's unseen. I might even consider playing the E for an extra 4 points.
Yeah. I think I am inclined to agree with you there, and Dave, in fact, is inclined to agree with you as well. He's going to play Glime for a big score, 40 something.
Yeah, he's extended.
Probably. Yeah. Only for a sec though, because Sauteed is coming down pretty quickly. Well, is Sauteed gonna give anything back for Dave that's pretty big? Dave has WX and that DEIRT like he had earlier.
Yeah, he can play his W, like he can play ride, the past tense of, or something to do with WRY, maybe. I think that's a word, ride. If my knowledge is
I think
still
so.
correct.
Well, it's going to be important for Rob to keep the firepower coming here after Sauteed, since Dave isn't going to bingo, but he's going to score well and kind of keep the tempo on his side. So Rob is still just a touch behind, if you will.
Yeah, he's got a Z and a blink, or a pair of U's and a Y, so we could see anything.
Yeah. This draw will kind of influence where we're headed into the late game here. It's okay so far. Interesting letters. The WU is not great, but the Z and the K will make it fun and probably pretty workable. Of course, ZO immediately stands out for 60-something points.
I think that's going away, but I think
so.
I think another ZE is opening up on the double letter for maybe a Zook.
It'll be interesting if he plays Zook like one letter before the double word score. Obviously, all the S's being out, but a blank still unseen. Oh, I guess yeah. Weird is better than yeah.
Oh yes, definitely. And those small that's sort of one of those small differences, those deltas between plays that like usually don't make a difference, but once in a while make a
Yep.
big difference.
Yeah.
As
And
as any veteran Scrabble player is familiar with.
yeah, noted in the chat, WIZ and ZO, pretty solid. One nice thing for Dave with weird is, 4 O's left go pretty well with the X. Gox, if nothing else. So he's pretty safe keeping the O, I think, or keeping the X. Obviously, Weirdo now coming into play. Seems likely that Rob is going to play Wiz.
That's a strong play from Dave, and some good chances for both of them.
5 tiles left to go for that blank. And there it is. Dave has, wow, that's, again, a great draw for what he needs right now. I don't know if there's any bingos that he's drawn offhand. It's certainly possible. Yeah, this game is probably going to come down to the wire at this point in terms of time on the clock, because there's plenty of spots to be concerned about as far as the bingo goes. I actually, I don't know if chat's already mentioned it, but Dave has drawn a bingo. I missed that A in Alarum for a sec as an option.
Oh, but
so
it's
Wiz, yeah. Wiz becomes actually much more important now because that actually blocks Laxation.
There's no N-Wiz. There's Swizz, and that's the only reduction.
Wow. There's no like non-Exel, I don't know.
Exhaustion.
Yeah. Well, I think Dave's probably in the driver's seat here.
Yeah, after Gox, you gotta like his chances. He's probably going to draw a bingo through that E, or there's not that many bingo spots, but there's a lot of vowels left for him to draw if he plays. I mean, even just
he can also take Taxon or something as well, making Weirdo. If he's feeling like going for scoring, I think it's probably safer to threaten the bingo, though. To your point,
he'd probably maybe play Taxol with the L, but
yeah.
That's kind of the unseen pool is kind of clunky.
Yeah.
So kind of he might want to keep those bingo tiles together.
It's funny, the pool is clunky, but for what he'd be leaving, ALNT blank, there are no A's, no L's, no N's, and no T's unseen to him. So he's drawing basically into a clunky bag that is excellent for him.
Yeah, if he can get those, even the O, he's getting rid of his 1 O with 3 O's remaining.
Ooh, I did not know PLANXTY Planksty. That's kind of cool.
Ooh.
But it seems like Gox is pretty warranted here. Now, if you're Rob, you're starting to feel the pressure because you're still down a tempo. Dave's just played 2 tiles and played pretty quickly.
And drawn.
Now if you're Rob, yeah, I mean, if you're Rob, at what point do you start thinking like, crap, I need to come up with my own miracle here? Does Rob, yeah.
That's a good question. Like I guess at first I'd just be looking for scoring plays, but you're pretty worried when you see. I agree. I mean, it could just be a scoring play, Cox. It's not. There's still 2 O's unseen. He could just have sort of a random assortment of non-blank tiles, but yeah, it's like a dicey situation, and if he doesn't have a great way to score, it's definitely, I'd be kind of just like praying that I draw the blank, honestly.
Yeah.
Which is maybe not the best, not the best strategy per se, but yeah. What's Rob? I don't know what Rob's going to do here.
I mean, yeah, I don't even know what he could do, even with us having all the information.
Yeah. And Dave's got bingos all over the board, but just as a, with us with the perfect information, we know he can play elations, he can play toenail over weird, he could play like tonality. Maybe there's something to the H.
There's even Ilanto to the T and Thrive.
Oh yeah, there. I was like, I didn't
Features
see any
everywhere.
vowel ending words. That's nice. So it would be, with the information we have, it would be surprising if Rob pulled this out. He'd probably have to, yeah.
Oh, actually, I realize now there's a 9 from NO. And the reason I know this is because I was once playing former national champion James Leong, and he overdrew and had 8 tiles on his rack. And it turned out no matter what tile I drew off of his rack, he would have non-coital.
That would close down some bingo lanes, at least.
It would.
Be a nice find. Dave might see that, even if he doesn't play it. So Quackle not suggesting much. Yuck from the Y and Hylas. If he wants to play for the blank, maybe something like Irugo and Weirdo. So no great place to play like Gauk or anything, which would be ideal.
Yeah. He seems to have remarkably just not much to do here.
And he's got to play something, and he does. He plays Realm. So he's going to try to outscore Dave and keep those scoring tiles in reserve.
That's yikes. Is there anything he can even
possibly? Yeah.
What could he possibly draw as a bingo, even with our perfect knowledge?
Because
that's what Dave is worried about, of course, right? I mean, obviously. I don't know. Are there any possible bingos in EEGGKOOPRUUY plus whatever's
5 in the bag? I guess maybe chat. Someone can either find a bingo or run it through Zizova. But I guess you're mostly worried about like a 7 ending in E or O. If you don't play on the left, top left, or an 8 through the E, or anyway. Yeah, I guess sort of that rare situation where there might be no bingos available with 5 in the bag, but for such an open board.
There are some. Puggery is noted, could play. I see Gouger could play.
Yum.
Yeah, so.
And those are both.
I mean, if you're Dave, I kind of figure you probably have to play, right? Elation, block the E. Seems like it's a. Oh no, because the board is so bad. Maybe you. I guess maybe at this point you really want to actually consider blocking the top left.
I agree. Like you only have 4 minutes, but this is the key turn. So take a minute or two, try to look for bingos. If anyone can find them in that pool of 12, it's Dr. Bing. And then maybe, I mean, the 2 that have been pointed out so far are both in that top left. He's obviously has elations set up, ready to go.
I think he has elation. I think he has elation set up with no, he's I would say elation fits with aquatics and weirdo, which is kind of funny. But I actually,
Oh,
I mean, obviously it's not going to matter in this case. He'll be fine, but I don't know. I think, yeah, tonality seems like, or, any of the words that play there seems like what you should do. But fortunately for Dave, the remaining tiles are nothing short of perfect. Well, they're Poyer, not perfect, but
very ropey.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's going to be a pretty hard fought game that's going to go his way. Just going to play out the string here with Rob. Looks like he wants to play keg. And I think Ropey and Weirdy can end the game next turn.
Yeah, won't be surprised if, Rob looks for a block there. But yeah, it's looking like Dave has this one in the bag, but I was a little dicey there towards the end by choosing Elations, I think, unless Dave knows something that we all don't know, which is always possible.
I was kind of surprised just that he didn't take another. I know you're already sort of low on time, and when you're low on time and maybe you're on stream, you want to just play something, and it's probably going to win, almost definitely. But
this is Dave. That's not you and me, it's Dave.
Exactly. Like,
he is the good doctor himself.
And the good doctor will have a good win on table one. Is that I wonder if maybe that Ramesley, I think that Ramesley, Alarum instead of Ramesley turning into Aquatics was a pretty big sequence in this one. I wonder what would have happened if Ramesley comes down, Dave's got the Q. Might have been a different story.
Oh, it would have been different for sure. I mean, that's the thing. Like, it's part of why Dave wins so many tournaments is he just makes fewer mistakes like that.
Yeah, exactly. He finds one
quick walk.
Yeah,
Dave's gone for a quick walk. I wonder where he's going.
Evans commented on that. I think it was yesterday morning. He played like cuddies early on in a game, CUDDIES. Yeah. He automatically makes, like, to your point, he's automatically going to make all sorts of plays like that. That if someone, like me, I miss those every game, and that's what holds me back from the Dave Wiegand here.
Well, who knows? Now that you're a doctor, maybe this is your future. I don't know.
Maybe I'll be doctor.
Getting that first national championship under your belt, like
first. Yeah, well, that'd be great.
Well, have you made any plans to go to the Crescent City Cup since we chatted yesterday?
No, I mean, it's only been 24. It's been less than 24 hours.
Not even.
Yeah, so I'm considering it. I do like New Orleans. It's a very fun city. So, and I haven't actually played in the Crescent City Cup.
Wow.
So it would be my first. I get to have a beignet and a muffaletta, and it'd be a lot of fun.
Heck yeah.
All that stuff.
Love me some Nola.
So I think we're going to take a quick break before game 14.
Yeah, and we'll be back with some more Dave Wiegand, I think, in just a few minutes. So I think he'll take on Chris Grubb. That's the plan. So we'll see y'all in a few minutes.
See you then.